Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Sammy, or you can call me by my in-game name Julieta XS, and today we're going to be talking about the Fed Navy Comet. Now the Fed Navy Comet, in my opinion, is one of the best Tech 1 frigates for low second faction warfare space. It's super cost effective, it's very sturdy, it's very durable, it's very fast, and it has a lot of DPS. Nearly 300 DPS with my skills in this fit. Couple of them, or even 3 comets together, can easily take down cruisers, and maybe even bigger if they're more tanked fit, obviously. Now, what makes the Fed Navy Comet even greater is even though it costs, the whole cost like 20 to 25 mil, it's really not that expensive compared to what advantages you get from it. And if you're part of faction warfare and part of Galente Federation, it's even simpler. You just run a novice plex, and 10 minutes you have another Fed Navy Comet. And the biggest thing with the Comet is, like I said, it is expensive compared to other Tech 1 frigates, of course, by actually 20 mil margin, but it's really worth its money, and it's versatile. Even though it has only three medium slots, but it's still very versatile. I mean, the Comet can brawl, can kite, can fit shield, can fit armor, can even fit whole tank, because it has a lot of structure hit points. You can't tell right now because I have my rigs fitted, but the majority of its tank is in structure, actually. And as you can see from my fit here, I'm actually stopped using the full generation set because I lost my pod the other day, and really expensive to maintain, and I figured, fuck it. So I'm only actually using a couple of high-grade talismans without the Omega, because I don't have Cybernetics 5. And I'm using talismans because I actually like flying nude boats. I place nudes on every ship that I can, and these give a nice little bonus towards training skills. So as you can see, I'm actually struggle a bit to fit this Comet up. It has a meta scram, meta web, compact AB, neutron blasters, a NOS, small ancillary, couple of magnetic fuel stabilizers, and a damage control. The reason why I didn't put a plate, which you can, of course, to cover up the explosion resist, is because, like I said previously, its main tank is in structure. Okay, and I figured the small ancillary wrapper will only help me about as much if I'm trying to take out ships that have a lot of drones, and this thing will keep me going if I'm doing it, and also keeps me going in other regular fights as well. And I've decided to go with the 2 max stats because a lot of DPS means I can kill my opponent before he kills me in most cases, because you'll rarely find a frigate or maybe even some destroyers that pump out about 300 DPS. Now this is the fit I'm currently running myself. It has, as you can see, AB, scram, and web, small ancillary, 2 mags, 3 transverse bolt heads. As it shows here, my tank is in whole, 1.83k, standard DC resist. It goes about 1.1 meters per second with my skills, 245 DPS with drones. I usually use Acolyte drones because I want to get some extra EM damage in there in case I fight something that's shield tanked. Brings it up to about 285 DPS with Void unheated. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can run multiple types of fits on a Comet, and almost all of them will be effective. For example, I use a NOS, of course, to keep my small ancillary wrapper going as much as possible. 3 minutes 41 with my actually with no implants. With implants, it's actually stable. My high-grade talisman. But yeah, this is the fit I'm currently running, and safe to say I'm very satisfied with it. I mean, I've gotten pretty decent amount of kills. Now, you can also scram cut it, right, with railguns. It's also, as you can see, I'm using Caldari Navy antimatter charges, no other tracking or range mods or rigs, and I can easily shoot into my optimal to scram range, which is 9 kilometers for a regular tick to scram. A simple overdrive injector, because of fitting space, will help me move a lot faster and help me help me dictate range a lot better. I'm not using a small ancillary armor repper in my scram cutter, because the idea behind scram cutting is to avoid getting any kind of damage from your opponent's guns if they're brawling you. So on simple DC with transverse bulkheads will be more than enough to tank any drones or any lucky pot shots until you get to that 8.5k range, that golden sweet spot. You can also cut it, of course. Personally, I fitted a tracking computer because I wasn't really sure at this point what to fit, but if you take this off, because it costs 20 CPU, you can fit a tracking disruptor, you can fit maybe a defensive web, maybe you can fit a scram. With the amount of power grid left, you can actually dual prop it if you want. It's up to you, it's dealer's choice. I'm using Caldari Navy Thorium because it gives me a lot more range without having to cripple my damage too much. Drones, again, you can pick whatever drones you like. You can also use some ECM drones if you want. They don't always work, but you might get lucky in some of the cases. And 2 injector systems, because I want to be sure I'm fast as possible. You can also fit a micro updrive for it and go for a brawling setup. You can use a micro updrive in case you know you're gonna go up against a lot of cutting ships. The Comet has a base speed which is quite high, 469 meters per second, which is really high compared to other frigates. So even if you get your scram shut off and your opponent is in brawl range as well, with a web and a scram, you should have no problem staying close enough to shoot him. So I used to run a micro drive setup, but I figured the AB setup is just as good if you're already inside a Plex and Faction Warfare, for my example. But you can also fit a micro drive and will help you. Same tank applies, only I had to downgrade my blasters to ions and use a small ghoul because of fitting requirements. And last but not least, you can also shield fit it for a fleet. I'm not sure if you know the Atron fleet that was all the hype back in the day when Gal Militia. People used to run Atrons with micro drive scram and a shield extender with blasters and just pure DPS and damage control, and a group of these Atrons would kill almost anything really fast because of the high DPS and high mobility. Well, you can do the same with the Comet. The only difference is with the Comet and an Atron, sure, it's more expensive, the Comet, but it's also more survivable. So if you get into an engagement, you tend to last a bit longer, and also you tend to apply a lot more DPS than your regular Atron. So that's that. So these are your typical Comet fits that you can use. Like I said, it depends on how you want to fly it. It's dealer's choice again, and almost all of them are effective. You can change some of the modules if you want. You can tank them a bit more if you don't feel comfortable running around in max DPS version. You can put some armor resist on it and make it more tanky, make it more survivable. You do a lot less DPS, but you'll survive a lot longer if you want to go for the tackle approach on a Comet. But I don't know why. You can always use a Punisher for that, but that's just me. If you like to run around in a full Genoshed in a full Genelution set, you can fit up the scram of the web. Maybe go for Tech 2 if you have some cap left, a CPU left, sorry. So that's that. And this is pretty much it for the fit for the Comet. Like I said, the Comet is, in my opinion, one of the best T1 frigates and low sec and faction warfare. And maybe if the fit is good enough, maybe even for no sec. Like I said, it's really fast. It has a high locking speed, lock time. It has a lot of DPS, and it has a lot of survivability. Basically, it's kind of a jack of all trades, but it's not that it's average in every aspect. It's actually above average, and it's not the best, but it's above average in most of the aspects, and that's why the Comet is a really good ship. Right, but enough of my talking. I'm just going to show you some example fights, and I'll let you decide for yourself.
It's not enough, I've given up. They're wielding guns, we've been taken over. Uncertain moves, let instinct choose. Their every move to leave us cornered. I know it's true, I sweat and blood and armored skirts, crimson storybook pretty soldiers. As we grow old, there's nothing left, bow and arrow in hand, stand up, follow orders. How cruel have we become to know what we have done tomorrow? Another one dear, you're not here. We watch them leave our homes. We embrace steel, and now we know that we have control. Free our souls. Gay sharp blades, wise and How cruel have I become to know what I have done tomorrow? Another one dear, you're not here. And how we feel, no one can know. I tend to grow our virtues close and personal. So we have control. Take my soul. Release my pain, one-handed I'll be your leader to the other side. Now we ride, inclined to die. Like us, I've come to find, are seldom blind to life's many horrors.